we're back with another Bobcat chat, and we're here with Misty Williamson, and she is the Director of Student Ministries at Pflugerville United Methodist Church. Thank you for joining us today, Misty, and we're so glad to have you. How's it going?
Hi. Good. I'm happy to be here today.
Good. So we have been discussing a lot of things about being at home and being away from our friends and being away from our churches and our schools and just all of the places that we would normally go during the day and evening. So what has your family been doing while you have been staying at home?
We have really taken advantage of the time to do home remodeling projects. I've also been in contact with our youth on almost a daily basis throughout this process.
Oh, wow. I bet that's a pretty big job, too. I don't know how many youth are at the church, but I'm sure that's very involved. What has that entailed?
Currently, it is teaching confirmation classes on Wednesday nights, hosting a parent of middle school and high school student Zoom chat every other week.
Oh, wow.
And then meeting with our high school students on Thursday, our middle school students on Friday, and having our entire group meeting on Sunday still.
Wow. So the church has been very involved, it sounds like, and they're really, really keeping things going. That's great to hear. I'm sure everybody's happy to be more connected that way. How does it feel being connected over Zoom instead of being in person? What ways have you found to make it better for everybody that's participating?
It is definitely more difficult. We are a very connected group, and we miss that time that we get to spend with each other face to face each week. But we have found different games and different ways to play games through Zoom. So we've had a lot of fun still connecting and, being our own silly selves.
That's great. That is
And
great.
then
Now, on the topic of silly selves, I've heard that your Jeep, number one, is an important member of your family, but I've also heard that there's been an addition to this Jeep that has spread cheer and merriment around Pflugerville. So tell us a little bit about the Rainbow Unicorn and your Jeep.
Sure. So Wilhelmina is my baby. My Jeep has been my dream car since I was 5 years old. And she's become an important part, not just of our family, but even the youth group. The kids all enjoy riding in her with the top off and things like that. Since this has all started, we've also started doing birthday parades. We want to make sure that we're there with the students and their families to celebrate birthdays, even though we can't be there.
Yes.
So we've started doing birthday parades, and I ordered a blow up rainbow unicorn costume, originally for me to wear.
Mm-hmm.
But my child has taken over the costume, and so he has become the rainbow unicorn
Oh, that is
of
great.
quarantine.
That is great.
It's been a lot of fun, and he's really enjoyed getting to hang out at the top of the Jeep and wave to people during birthday parades and things like that.
That is wonderful. You've really given him a purpose during this time, and it sounds like a really entertaining and fun one too. So
yes, it's something that I think he truly enjoys.
Well, so how many of these birthday parades would you say that you've done so far?
Oh, we're probably between 15 and 20 at this point.
Wow, that is amazing. And that's quite a bit of a time commitment too. So it's really, really cool that you are doing that and making so many people feel special and connected right now. Because I know that the youth get antsy about different things than the adults do. What I've noticed about this particular youth generation, because I have a senior in my house, is that they are much more about staying in, following the rules, listening, and kind of making their own decisions. And what I keep hearing from my daughter and her friends is that the better we do this, the sooner we get out of this. And that's not what a lot of adults seem to be saying at this point in time. And even something you and I were talking about earlier, there are definitely adults out there not necessarily being the example. And I think it's really cool that the youth can be the example. But how are you talking to families about this that have different concerns? And what are you seeing in your church as far as how the youth are and how the adults are, and what you are saying to them as far as information sharing and what they can do during this time and how they can keep themselves safe, but also be connected?
So we have been, like you said, very blessed with a group of, or a generation of students who really do focus on what is going on. And I think, for us as a church, both with the students and the adults alike, we find that it's very important to offer both a vertical and a horizontal connection through these times.
Yes.
We all, everybody in some manner, no matter what your age, is feeling alone during this time and disconnected. So those connections and those ways of keeping us from feeling isolated are, just super important to not just the youth, but to all members of the church.
Right.
We have, we talked about how many times a week the youth are meeting, which is outside of the typical, Wednesday night confirmation and just meeting on Sundays. We've added those extra meetings to provide support. In the beginning, before school started, we did a lot of online games and things like that to keep the students engaged as well. And, online, we're doing online ministry with church services every Sunday. So just doing our best to stay connected. And the youth, I think, are feeling the biggest loss with, the lack of summer camps and things like that this summer.
Right.
So we have started to look at ways that we can offer some sort of a, not camp, but still get that feeling of giving back and things like that over the summer, and planning, ways that we can safely give back to the community.
Mm-hmm.
We're also, to keep them engaged, we've also started planning a dance, and the date of the dance is to be determined. And, the youth are very adamant it won't be until we can meet in a public space with, with a large group of people and be together. So, we're hoping to do it by the end of this year, but we know realistically that 2021 may be when this dance happens.
Exactly. But you're giving them something to look forward to, which is great. And you're filling their space as they move toward that, which I applaud you for the amount of work that y'all are putting into this and how well you're staying connected with the youth. And it sounds like the adults at the church as well. What's one thing that's happened during this social distancing period that you have really loved and was surprising to you?
So I think my son and I really honestly, I'm going to go back to Wilhelmina. We both really enjoy driving around in the Jeep with the top off. We have definitely enjoyed the birthday parades. We've worked on different rooms in the house, bringing them together, getting things, just cleaned up and organized. But we also, on top of that, enjoy going out, being outside, hiking, trying to find little weekend escapes around Austin that allow us to be connected without, or that allow us to be outside without being, breaking any of those social distancing barriers.
Right. So if you see the rainbow unicorn around town, you will now know who's in it and who you need to call if you need a drive-by, right, for your party.
Yes, and we are definitely, you can reach out through the church website, and, not just Quinn, but several of our church members are definitely willing to come and do birthday drive-bys for anyone in the community that might be feeling like they're missing that birthday connection.
That is really fabulous. Oh, I love that. And I can't wait to see the unicorn up close one of these days. So as we move through this time and as our state starts to open, people have different opinions about how things should go. How are you planning on handling this at your church as we begin to open things within the state of Texas?
So we are currently maintaining, we're currently staying closed. We're maintaining a minimal crew to record Sunday services. We are meeting weekly every Tuesday to discuss it going forward.
Okay.
Our goal is to open when we can open and be open to everyone, but also to be open safely. The health and safety of, those that attend our church and the community are definitely a priority for us. So we want to make sure that we're not opening too soon, because even though we miss that connection, we want to make sure that everyone stays safe.
Okay. No, that's great. That's really good to hear. So now the questions that, because we're in elementary school, we have to ask you.
Fair enough.
So, do you prefer chocolate or vanilla? Anything.
Chocolate.
All right.
Chocolate, hands down.
All the way. Okay. Do you like fruity candy the best or chocolate candy the best?
Oh, fruity, especially if it's sour.
Okay. Oh yeah. So what's your favorite sour candy?
Currently on the market, probably Sour Patch Kids.
Yeah, I like those a lot too.
But they used to make a tearjerker gummy that was like insanely sour, and those were my favorite for many years.
Those were the best to give people that were unsuspecting, actually. I
Yes.
enjoy doing that to people. Okay, so now I know that you have a son that might still kind of be the right age for these things, but at our school, there's a huge call for Minecraft and Fortnite and Roblox. First off, do you know what any of those are? And second off, do you actually play any of those?
I do know what they are. With Quinn being an only child, that is how he is really connected with friends.
That's
over
awesome.
Quarantine. That has been a big thing for him. But as far as knowing how to play them, no, not really. I've attempted once or twice, but it is clear that I am not a gamer.
I hear you. Okay. And do you watch YouTube? And if so, would you choose to watch Mark Rober or Physics Girl? Who would be your choice?
I watch a little bit of YouTube, not a lot, but definitely I would have to say the Physics Girl.
All right.
Since coming from an early childhood background and, working with preschool for so many years, science, physics, anything like that, has always been a big passion of mine.
That's so great. Yeah, and she is fascinating. They're all fascinating, although I think we watch way too much of it at our house. So it's also a good way to connect, but, only so much. Everything in moderation. Now, Is there anything that you would like to share with the students and parents and teachers of Brookhollow specifically? I'm sure that y'all have members that go to Brookhollow. Or is there anything that you would just like to say to the group at large that will be watching this while we're here?
All right. So to Brookhollow, to those kids that I've seen either at the church or that have been in my class previously when I was a preschool teacher, I know I have quite a few there. I hope you guys are all staying safe. I hope that you're, maintaining social distance, but I hope that you're also finding ways to stay connected. And I think to the Brookhollow community and the rest of the community at large, I hope that everyone is really finding great ways to stay connected, virtually or otherwise, and that you guys are all, staying safe and keeping it together, because I know that can be hard during this time as well.
Oh, yes. And one last thing, because this week is Teacher Appreciation Week, and you just mentioned that you taught at the preschool and now you've moved to be the director of student services at the church. What would you say to all the teachers out there who are desperately missing their kids this week during Teacher Appreciation?
So to those that are still, I know a lot of preschool teachers are still teaching, but on a very minimal basis. I hope that you guys are enjoying the few kids that you do have. And I hope that regardless of age or, stage that you teach, I hope that everyone across the board is able to find ways to connect, and you guys are all appreciated. And I think this year parents are feeling it more than ever.
Definitely. I love all the memes that have gone over it because they are so true. Who do I call to get a substitute? So, and a bunch of those different things. I think this has been a big eye opener for all parents about just what teachers actually do. But thank you so much, Misty, for joining us today. And I appreciate hearing your thoughts. And we appreciate all the work that you and your church are doing for the Pflugerville community.
Thank you, Amy. It was my pleasure to be here.